All right, we're going to take a look at Pass No Pass. This is going to be a great friend of yours while you're at DVC. This is really something you want to be very mindful of and strategic with because it can certainly help you keep your GPA high and really avoid some of the pitfalls that can come with taking classes that might not be in a subject that's particularly one of your strengths. So what it does, it allows you to take a class and not get the traditional letter grade. So you're not going to get an A, B, C, D, F on your transcript. You're either going to get just a pass or a no pass. And we're going to go through in this video and take a look at how that works. So as long as you get a C or higher, nobody will ever know, and you're just going to get a P on your transcript, indicating that you passed. Your GPA does not go up. Your GPA does not go down. So for example, if you get 3 A's and a P, your GPA is a 4.0. Even if when you get that P, the actual grade was a B or a C, nobody will ever know. It's masked by the fact that you elected to take it pass, no pass. So again, if you get 3 A's and a P, your GPA would stay a 4.0. So GPA doesn't go up, GPA doesn't go down when you elect this option. If it's a transferable class, you still receive transfer credit for the class if you elected pass. If it's an IGETC class and you receive a pass, it will still count toward fulfilling your IGETC requirement. We'll take a look at that in more detail on the upcoming slides as well. In general, my recommendation, if it's not a transferable class, just automatically take it pass, no pass. On the architecture educational planning, you'll see where I indicated architecture 135 as a prerequisite, not a transferable class, but a requirement. And that's one of those things where I would say just automatically select it pass, no pass. There's nuance to this as always, and if any of you have questions, certainly come by and talk to us in counseling. We don't want you to select a course as pass, no pass, only to realize later that it wasn't supposed to be done that way. So if it's a required class for your major, you must take it for a letter grade. For example, if you're an economics major, you can't just choose to take micro or macro as pass, no pass. You have to get a letter grade. If you're a psychology major and you have to take an intro to psych class, you have to get a letter grade. If it's on assist or if it's part of your major, you really want to make sure that you're getting a letter grade for that class. Otherwise, you might have to retake it later on, which is a big waste of time and money. So in general, you should only use this on general education courses or electives. And in the catalog, and I'll show this on the following slide, there are some classes that don't allow you the option of selecting pass, no pass. So it's really important as you're selecting your courses on IGETC to be mindful of that and go through that extra step to make sure that you will have the option to select this. So in the student catalog, you'll see the notations of SC or LR, and I'll show you what that looks like. SC means it's the student's choice, meaning you can elect to take the course for pass, no pass. If it says LR, that means a letter grade is required and you don't have the option. So on the following slide here, you'll see Physical Science 112, very common course that students would take to fulfill area 5A on IGETC. And you'll see here the SC. This means it's, again, student choice. You can choose this one, pass, no pass. If I switch over to elementary physics, another common class that students might take to fulfill that same area of IGETC, this one's LR. That means you can't change it to pass, no pass. So many students will sort of relax the first 3 weeks of the class, knowing that they're going to eventually try to take this class pass, no pass. They go to admissions and records and say, oh, I'd like to switch it, only to find out that they can't. And at that point, they might have to drop or really step up their game to start doing better academically. So be very mindful of this in the catalog, the SC versus LR. So you have to decide early in the semester whether or not you're going to take the courses pass, no pass. There's no sort of going back and forth with this. Once you decide, you decide. You really want to check the important dates on Insight or go to the course details on your registration page. There it will show you all the dates and deadlines to do this. Every semester, I recommend doing a quick Google search for DVC important dates. Print out that PDF because it will have everything for especially the fall and spring. For competitive universities like Berkeley, LA, the recommendation is don't take more than about 10 units of pass, no pass. The maximum that you can take out of the 60 that you need to transfer is 14. If you're transferring primarily to the CSU, those limits are going to be much higher. But in general, like if you are leaning towards being a strong candidate for competitive majors at Berkeley or LA, typically 2 or 3 classes of GE or IGETC, where you're going to be selecting pass no pass as an option. There's a great video linked below. I would say pause, write that down. That will show you how to select pass no pass online for a class. So I'm going to show how you might use pass no pass. I pulled this over from my business education plan video. So don't rely on this, because in the business video I'll give much more detail into what this actually means. But those first 3 classes are all major requirements for a business major. And maybe that general education, which I've indicated as IGETC Area 3A, maybe they just want to take that class as pass no pass. So 3 units is pass no pass. Everything else on that list, they're getting a grade. Their spring, everything there is required for the major, same with summer, and same with their final fall. So all of those classes, they don't have the option to select any of those as pass no pass, other than the IGETC here. Now, in the final spring, and this is a good way to sort of wrap up college, it's the leftover general education, and maybe the student wants to relax and take a breath like a normal human being, and maybe they don't like science. And they decide, I really want to not have to worry about getting A's in these. I'm going to try to get an A in these 3 classes to finish up really strong, and I'm just going to try to survive these science classes. So maybe this is a 4 unit, maybe this is a 3, we have 3 over here, so it's about 10 units. And at the time of application, there's only 3 units that have been used as pass no pass. So this is a really good strategy and allows the student to sort of have a bit of a break in that final semester, which is great, before you head off to the university and be sort of buried again under a lot of work and a lot of stress. So quick summary, be smart, use these strategically. Never select pass no pass for courses for your major. Keep it less than 10 units for competitive majors at competitive universities. Know the dates and select it early, and then keep an eye out for the SC and LR notation in the catalog. I hope this makes sense, but as always, come by and see us in counseling. With everything, there's always nuance, so I encourage you to come by our offices so we can look at this in more detail.